Flight attendants refused CEO's meal. Minutes later, they were all fired fire. The seat belt sign had just pinged off when the purser's voice crackled over the PA, tight and clipped. Ladies and gentlemen, due to an unforeseen catering issue, we are unable to serve hot meals in first class on this flight. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. In seat 1A, Alexander Holt, 42, founder and CEO of Apex Global Logistics, net worth north of 9 figures, felt the familiar flare of irritation. He had boarded the red-eye from JFK to Heathrow after burying his father that morning. The funeral had been small, the casket closed, the eulogy delivered by a cousin who barely knew the old man. Alex had shaken hands, accepted condolences, and then fled to the airport because sitting still felt like drowning. He pressed the call button harder than necessary. Maria Gonzalez, senior flight attendant with 23 years at Sky Atlantic, appeared at his elbow almost instantly. She was 51, Dominican by birth, New Yorker by choice, and the unofficial mother of every crew she flew with. Yes, Mr. Holt. Her smile was professional, but her eyes were tired. Alex held up the foil-covered plate the junior attendant had just set in front of him, some sad cold chicken breast swimming in congealed sauce. "This is unacceptable," he said, voice low enough that only she could hear. "I paid $22,000 for this ticket. I expect what I paid for." Maria didn't flinch. "I understand, sir. Unfortunately, the catering truck in New York loaded the wrong galley. The entire first-class meal service is cold. We've already radioed ahead to have hot meals waiting for you in London." "Not good enough." He pushed the tray away. "Get me the supervisor. I am the supervisor on this aircraft, Mr. Holt. Then get me someone on the ground who can fix this." Maria hesitated half a second, just long enough for Alex to notice the dark circles under her eyes, the faint tremor in her left hand that she hid by smoothing her skirt. Then she nodded once and disappeared behind the curtain. 2 minutes later she was back, this time with the entire crew trailing her like ducklings. 6 women and 2 men, all in the navy and crimson uniform of Sky Atlantic, all looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Maria spoke first. "Mr. Holt, the crew and I have discussed this. We have exactly 8 hot crew meals in the rear galley, chicken tikka masala, rice, naan. They were loaded for us because we work a 21-hour duty day with only 1 break. We would like to give them to you and the other 7 passengers in first class." Alex blinked. He hadn't expected that. Maria continued, softer now. "We know it's not the filet mignon you ordered. But it's hot, it's fresh, and it's all we have. We're happy to do it." He opened his mouth to say yes, then noticed the youngest attendant, a girl who couldn't be more than 25, clutching a Tupperware container against her chest like a shield. Her name tag read Keisha, YYZ base. Maria followed his gaze. "Keisha's little boy has leukemia. She flies these trips back to cover the medical bills. That container has the only dinner her son will eat tonight when she gets home tomorrow, homemade rose con gandules her mother cooked. The crew meals are, well, they're the only real food some of us get on these long hauls." The cabin was silent except for the drone of the engines. Alex felt something twist inside his chest, sharp and unfamiliar. Maria kept going, voice steady. "We voted, sir, unanimously. We'll give you our meals. But we're refusing to serve you the cold plates from the cart. It's not right that you paid for something you're not getting, and it's not right that we pretend this is acceptable. So the meals are yours, if you'll take them." Alex looked from face to face. There was Javier, the gay flight attendant from Miami who sent half his paycheck to his sister in Havana. There was Sarah from Vancouver, whose husband had lost his job when the mill closed. There was Amara from London, single mom of twins, who worked doubles so her kids could stay in private school. And there was Keisha, eyes shining with tears she refused to let fall. He had spent the last decade firing people exactly like them for far less. Alex pushed the cold tray farther away. "No," he said quietly. Maria's shoulders sagged, just a fraction, but he saw it. "No," he repeated, louder this time, turning in his seat to address the entire cabin. "Ladies and gentlemen, keep your crew meals. I'll eat the cold chicken. Or nothing at all. It's one flight." A ripple of surprise moved through first class. The investment banker in 2C actually looked up from his laptop. Maria started to protest. "Sir, that's an order," Alex said, and for the first time in years, he smiled like he meant it. "From a very tired passenger who buried his father today and doesn't want to take food out of anyone's mouth, especially not a sick kid's." Keisha let out a sound that was half sob, half laugh, and fled toward the galley. The rest of the crew stood frozen. Then Javier, bold as brass, leaned down and whispered, "You just became our favorite passenger of all time, Mr. Holt." They didn't serve the hot meals to first class. Instead, for the next 10 hours, something extraordinary happened on Flight SAW 117. The crew broke every rule in the book. Sarah brought Alex a real cup of coffee brewed in the crew pot, strong and black, the way his dad used to make it. Amara slipped him warm naan wrapped in a napkin, for later. Javier produced a tiny bottle of duty-free scotch, medicinal purposes only, sir. And somewhere over Greenland, Maria sat in the jump seat across from 1A during her break and listened while Alex told her about the father he'd barely spoken to in 15 years, about the guilt that tasted worse than any cold chicken. By the time the wheels touched down at Heathrow, Alex hadn't slept, but he felt lighter than he had in months. He was the last to deplane. At the jet bridge, the entire crew waited in a line, something they definitely weren't supposed to do. Maria spoke for them. "Safe travels, Mr. Holt, and, thank you." Alex opened his mouth to say "You're welcome," then closed it. He reached into his breast pocket, pulled out a business card, and pressed it into Maria's hand. "If any of you ever need anything," he said, "call me. Day or night." They thought it was just a rich guy being polite. It wasn't. 3 days later, back in New York, Alex sat in the boardroom of Sky Atlantic Airlines. He had bought controlling interest the night he landed, using a shell company so no one saw it coming. The previous CEO, an old Harvard classmate who loved cost-cutting more than people, was already gone, escorted out by security before lunch. Now Alex stood at the head of the table and looked at the stunned faces of the executive team. "Effective immediately," he said, "all crew meals will be the same quality as first-class catering. No more reheated slop in the back while passengers eat lobster. And starting next quarter, every employee, flight attendant, ramp agent, gate agent, gets profit sharing. 10% of net, straight to you. No tears. No golden parachutes for us if we don't deliver for you." The room was dead silent. "Oh," he added, almost as an afterthought, "and everyone on Flight SAW 117 from the 14th, crew and passengers, gets lifetime global elite status. Tell them it's from the guy in 1A who ate the cold chicken." He didn't tell them the rest. He didn't tell them about the fund he'd set up for Keisha's son. Fully paid treatment at Memorial Sloan Kettering, plus a trust that would cover college for both her kids. Or the quiet relocation package for Javier's sister in Havana. Or the anonymous scholarship that appeared for Amara's twins. He didn't tell them because he didn't need to. 6 months later, Alex was back on a Sky Atlantic red-eye, this time in coach because he'd given his upgrade to a soldier going home on leave. He wore jeans and a baseball cap pulled low, just another passenger. Maria spotted him anyway. She stopped dead in the aisle, tray of coffees balanced on one hand. "Mr. Holt," she whispered, eyes wide. He grinned. "Evening, Maria. Got any of that crew coffee going spare?" She laughed so hard she nearly dropped the tray. Later, when the cabin lights dimmed and most passengers slept, Maria slipped into the empty seat beside him. "You know," she said softly, "we all thought you were just another entitled suit that night." "I was," Alex admitted. "What changed?" He thought about it for a long moment, staring out at the stars over the Atlantic. 8 people were willing to go hungry so I wouldn't have to," he said finally. "Turned out I wasn't willing to let them." Maria reached over and squeezed his hand. No words. None needed. Somewhere behind them, Keisha was on her way home to a little boy whose latest scans were clean. Sarah's husband had a new job, at twice the pay, running logistics for a company whose owner insisted on hiring laid-off mill workers first. Javier's sister had landed in Miami last week, papers in order, tears in her eyes. And somewhere up in the cockpit, the captain announced they were beginning descent into New York, right on time. Alex closed his eyes and, for the first time in years, slept the whole way home. He never flew first class again.